Rassie Rasmus and the Springboks have just announced the team to face Scotland this weekend, and as you can see, we've taken the show to Edinburgh. Not only am I going to be reacting to the lineup, I'm going to take you to the press conference now where Rassie is going to explain it as well. If you guys haven't, please hit that subscribe button. As you can see, we've taken the show to Scotland. Leave this video a like, and as always, drop a comment. Let's get to the presser.
What is the expectation ahead of this game on Sunday?
Look, in one of my recent videos, I said the Springboks need to come here, get 3 wins from 3, no excuses, no second chances. We are the #1 team in the world. Take that for what you want. So Ireland are currently sitting at the top, but they play New Zealand tonight, which I think will be a tough task. But the Boks need to come and get 3 wins from 3. Rassie, a guy like Cameron Hanekom is coming for Damian Willemse. You say you're potentially going to give 34, 35 guys a run. Can we expect Cameron Hanekom potentially against Wales?
Yeah, I would want to clear that up because I think people think one just sometimes try to be funny or weird when you do things. Just remember, we had Jan Hendrik we picked as a prop and a hooker. So we actually picked a hooker less and a prop less. So Grobbies and Wilco came into the mix. Okay, and then because we have enough backline players and we do have at that stage we had Damian Willemse and everybody. So when Thing got injured, we brought Cameron Hanekom in, and then obviously when we got another injury now at lock, we need another lock. So it is because Jan Hendrik was covering 2 positions that we didn't have to bring in another prop or another lock. So it looks like we're doing it on purpose. It's not. It's where we feel we're thin. And then Cameron certainly knocked down the door. But, Marco hasn't played. Marco's 29. He hasn't played 50 test matches. Elrich hasn't how many matches now? 10 matches, Peter Steff is one of our best players at his prime. Sia is really doing well. Jasper is doing well. So they almost, it's not that we don't see Cameron, but then when there's a gap and we feel we filled the other positions, all right, let's get him on board. Let him start training with us, get a feeling with us. And then if there's opportunity and the momentum goes with us, then we'll give him a chance.
Okay, the press conference has just wrapped up, and Rassie Rasmus has put together quite an interesting team, and I think even at the press conference he was sort of laughing at the fact of how different this type of team is, and the questions he was getting was sort of based around the 7-1 split and starting some of the main guys, Sia Kolisi, Peter Steff du Toit on the bench, and the other guys start in the starting lineup, and sort of his explanation behind that was that we have a big game next weekend against England. Let's save some of the big guns that are going to start next weekend and give some of the other guys some opportunity up front. So let's quickly go through it. Ox, Bongi, Thomas du Toit is pretty much exactly what we thought. There was a bit of a toss-up between Thomas du Toit, Vincent Koch and Wilco Louw, but Rassie Rasmus going for the informed Thomas du Toit has had a great season for Bath over the last season. We know what we're going to get from Ox and we know what we're going to get from Bongi. Malcolm Marx will be starting on the bench, sort of exactly how we predicted it. And then into the lock combination, Eben Etzebeth and Franco Mostert. Now, Eben, captain, because Sia is starting on the bench, and then Franco Mostert in that number 5 jersey, almost exactly how we predicted it. Ruan Nokia did get injured on Wednesday, and Rassie did say that if Ruan was fit, he would have ended up starting that. Then into the loose forwards, the 6, 7, 8 combination, very interesting. Marco van Staden at 6, Ulrich Louw at 7, and Kwagga Smith at 8. Ulrich sort of playing that swing between 8 and 7 is very, very interesting, and that's sort of the utility that Ulrich Louw brings. Kwagga starting because it's his 50th test, and it's going to be different to sort of see Kwagga Smith starting, but definitely not against it. And then in that number 6 jersey, Marco van Staden, Rassie kind of just said that he hasn't got many games under his belt and they need to sort of get him a little bit more experience before the next Rugby World Cup. Then into the back line, Jaden Hendricks at 9, Andre Pollard at 10. Combination maybe we didn't expect. We kind of thought Jaden was going to start if Marnie started. Andre Pollard will take the reins of the kicking duty, and then Rassie did say that Willie Leroux will sort of slot in as that utility 10 if need be. The wings, no Kurt Arendse, no Ches and Colby. Rassie Rasmus has gone for Makazole Mapimpi and Kane Moody. An interesting call, but Kanan's there, like Rassie said, to sort of play that utility for the 13 position. They actually they want Canan Moodie to be a number 13, and to have him starting wing is just so that Lukhanyo can sort of start in that 13 position, but they do see Canan Moodie in that number 13 jersey moving forward, and he's one of those guys that are also going to provide that utility to play wing and 13 over the weekend because of the 7-1 split. Centres, Andre Esterhuizen, Lukhanyo Andre Esterhuizen is going to have a mammoth task on his hand against Scotland. Then Lukhanyo in that number 13 jersey, maybe just resting Damien Delende and JC Creel for that massive England game coming up. But again, Lukhanyo World Cup winner, Andre Esterhuizen is an absolute tank. So those guys are going to have a tough day, but if they get it right, it's going to be something good to watch. And then Willie Leroux in that number 15 jersey. And I do think Willie's probably going to get his 100th cap against Wales. Whether he comes off the bench against England and then starts against Wales, Willie will probably get his 100th cap this tour. And it was a toss-up between him and Apalele Fassi, but Willie starting at 15 is going to bring more of that experience, and he's also going to cover for Andre Pollard at 10 if anything had to happen there. Then into the bench, 7-1 split and all the experience in the world. Malcolm Marx, Gerrit Steenekamp and Vincent Koch. Almost exactly what we thought. Maybe Vincent Koch could have started, but I do like that Thomas du Toit is starting in that number 3 jersey. Archie Snyman, the only lock on the bench, not playing Jean Klein. And like Rassie did say that Franco Mostert would have been rested if Ruan Nokia didn't get injured, but now Franco Mostert has to move up. Archie Snyman coming off the bench, and we know how good Archie Snyman has been for Leinster, and we know how good he is for the Springboks coming off the bench. Then Siya Kolisi, Peter Steph du Toit and Jasper Visser on the bench as well. An absolute nightmare of a trio if you're Scotland in that 60th, 70th minutes and you see the captain of the Springboks, Siya Kolisi, Peter Steph du Toit, arguably the best player in the world, and Jasper Visser running onto that field. So again, Rassie's doing this so that these guys can sort of rest. It's all got to do with workload. He's resting some players now so that they can perform against England. We can have a fully strong squad there. And then the final back on the bench is Grant Williams, who can cover wing, who's going to come on for Jaden Hendrickse at some point. But again, Grant Williams, utility 9 and wing. Willie, utility 10 and fullback, and Canan 13 and wing. So almost all the positions are covered, and Rassie did touch on they want to be tested if there are a couple of injuries. It will be interesting to sort of see how they'll go about that. Hopefully he hasn't sort of put that into the universe and that happens, but a very strong Springbok lineup, not what we expected. 7-1 split, a lot of youngsters starting with massive power on the bench. It's going to be a very interesting game.